All right, we're gonna do one last video before saying goodnight. I wanted to talk about a couple of things. First, well, let's start with where we left off. I was talking about, how I don't know if people believe or there's a misconception that murder is like the highest on the what do you call that on the hierarchy list of criminals, or I don't like the word criminal. I don't like the word criminal world, because I don't know, I just don't like that word. I would not call it a criminal world. I would say the hierarchy of, I don't know, just another world, man. Just another world. It's not. I think the criminal world is just a part of another world. It's a big world. It's just like how you guys have a hospitality and tourism world. Okay, you got a hospitality world with hotels and restaurants. That's one world. Then they have worlds for sports entertainment, right? And that's with it. They just have worlds for everything, right? They got a world for media. For movie media, they got a whole different world for news media, and it goes on and on. Okay, I don't like the criminal world thing. I say it's a world it's a world on its own. Okay, it's a world on its own. Now within that world, the hierarchy is not murder, and and I've said it. 95% of murders are not even high profile. Or at least I'd say at least 85-90% are not even high profile. People kill people even unintentionally. It's called manslaughter. They get mad, start punching somebody, he's dead. All right. They might get mad, drive somebody over with their car, and whatnot. Right. And you had a beef and you killed somebody. I don't know, the beef was over they owed you money or whatever the deal was, or they fucked you over, whatever it is. That's not the top of the hierarchy. I don't know where people got. And the funniest thing is when they tell you that they're, let's say they tell you their crime is murder. The funniest thing is when you ask them about it, they'll reply and say, "I don't discuss my case." They'll say, "I don't discuss my case." So what exactly, how do you get off getting ahead of somebody who robbed a bank or an armored truck, by the way, which is the top of the hierarchy, right, of that world? Somebody who did that, you claim to be above them all of a sudden, and you're getting in front of them, and we don't even know what your murder was, what the nature of the murder was. You're not willing to discuss anything about it. I don't know. I don't understand it. There's something that happened that was wrong. There's something that needs to be corrected. Right? You robbed the jewelry store. I think you're out of your fucking mind right now. And to be honest, I don't know. I don't want to get into that. You robbed the jewelry store. I don't know. You know what I mean? And that's also not at the top of the hierarchy. People like to say stupid shit. Oh, I have a breaking and entering charge, but I stole $100,000 watch. You know what I mean? It doesn't put you up in the hierarchy. Everybody knows that the top of the hierarchy is a bank, is to rob a bank, and it's a federal crime, by the way. Is robbing a bank, or it's robbing an armored truck, which is almost the same thing because the armored truck goes to banks or places where they have a lot of money. And sometimes they do multiple trips and they're collecting cash, right? So armored trucks does fall under that. Now let's involve people for a second. Because if there were people getting involved that weren't supposed to get involved, people from the general world, for example, were saying, no, these guys did murder. It doesn't matter what they did. Look, listen, they did a murder. Okay, he's one of my best guy friends. Okay, so a girl might vouch for him. He's one of my best guy friends, and I'm telling you, he did a murder, and he should be ahead of these guys, right? Now I'm gonna throw in something for you. For the general world that doesn't really care or know much about criminality, that may or even may not have been involved or would be involved. I don't know. There was a movie called Blood In Blood Out that came out in the mid-90s. Okay, it was on Los Angeles, about three guys. They all take different routes. One's an artist, one becomes a criminal, one becomes a police officer. Okay, and they start off as a street gang. They're teenagers and a street gang. Okay, I'm not gonna get into the details of it. Basically, the story is primarily behind one of the guys who is he's half Latino, half white, but he has blue eyes and colored hair. So he gets a lot of shit for being a white guy. Now, that's not important. The point is that he goes to jail on a murder charge. It happens in the heat of the moment. He doesn't mean to. He just had to shoot at a guy. He shot him. He killed him. Right? He goes to San Quentin for a murder charge. Right? Goes for a murder charge. Gets out in 8 years because he was very young when he did the crime, and he was still an adult, but he did the crime. He got parole or whatever. He comes out. Now, life is not going good for him. So what does he do? That's why you really gotta plan your stuff out, when you get out. But anyways, what does he do? He robs an armored truck. Unfortunately, the other guys get away. He gets left behind. And they catch him and he goes to jail. Now, if you remember the movie, he was doing well. Like, he came in on a murder charge that was, he murdered somebody that was of a rival gang. So it was a gang versus a rival gang, and he killed a guy, right? So that's kind of, he gets a little, but what happens, man? I mean, anyways, let's not get into that. Anyways, so he goes in and now he's kind of gets some kind of status in the gang. But what does he have to do? He has to kill like a really high profile guy. He kills a really high profile guy, a guy who's in with the CEO, who's in with the prison staff and everything. Like a guy, he's like really on his stuff. He's a high profile guy. He has to kill him in order to get in the gang. After killing him, he gets in the gang and he gets to take over that guy's, because that guy was doing a gambling ring. He gets to take over that guy's gambling ring now that he's killed him. Comes out, because obviously he has better hopes for the outside life. Comes out, things don't work out so great. He sees somebody, right, who is what do you call it? He unfortunately gets involved. Like, he doesn't mean to, but he walks into the middle of a deal, and the deal is about robbing an armored truck. First thing he says is, "This is stupid." They say, "No, we got a setup going on." He says, "Okay, there's a setup going on. I'm all in." He says the driver is in on the gig. He's a customer of his for something. He goes, the driver is in on the gig. I want in. I want in on robbing this armored truck. Okay, now that he knows that it's rigged, he knows he can do it and get away. Unfortunately, although it's rigged, he gets somebody was there who wasn't happy with being kicked out of the deal, and he calls the police with an anonymous tip. Right? Does it? This guy goes back to jail. Now when he goes back to jail the second time, right? Now it's for an armored truck. And the funny thing is that with the first time he went to jail, everybody was kind of hollering at him. I don't know, man. But the second time he goes in there, everybody's hollering at him again, but they're saying stuff like, "Oh yeah, he's back, oh my God." Everyone's going crazy. He walks in, and his cellmate is, anyway, whatever the deal is. He manages to get into the law library, start working in law, and he also, at the end of the movie, becomes the head of that entire gang. Okay. I mean, I know the public has seen this movie. This was a very popular movie. It was a 90s movie, right? It was very popular. And, first time he's in for murder. Second time he's in for an armored truck. Now he's the leader or the head of the gang. Big deal. You know what I mean? So if you don't know anything about this stuff and you purely just know movies or you like seeing movies, first of all, that was a very realistic movie. It was actually shot in San Quentin prison. It was actually shot in East LA. All right, so that's just a little movie. I'll be honest, when I was in 11th grade, my accounting teacher told me, or he was talking to a small group of us, and he said that the top of the hierarchy when there's a prison issue or anything is the bank robbers. That's typically, well, he didn't say typically, he said they're at the top of the hierarchy. Okay. That was the first time that I had heard that. Although I knew that a bank robbery is very serious, I didn't know about the whole hierarchy thing. That's when I was in 11th grade. Again, you see, where did I learn my criminality from? From an accounting teacher. You know what I mean? I wasn't on the street learning from gangbangers and stuff like that. I learned that the bank robbery is the bank robbers are, and then I confirmed it. Obviously, over your lifetime, you'll see it again and again. But I got it. I got it from my accounting teacher. Okay, who was an old man, probably on his way to being retired, and then I got that from the accounting teacher, man. What else do you want me to say? How many kids you know like that? I'll get that from the accounting teacher, huh? Am I your typical atypical, or what the fuck what are you gonna call me? Anyways, going on. So that's the deal with me. So I wanted to talk about that. You know, whether you're robbing jewelry, whether you're robbing a 7-Eleven, whether you're robbing a liquor store, it's all below the hierarchy of the bank robbery. Okay, in that world. We got that. Number two. Okay, so anyway, I'm like, okay, so number two is there's look, I've talked about the whole snake thing, right? And I would say it's not smart, but and I've talked, and let's go back to the scenario. After the king snake dies, it's not smart to stay in that environment. And like what like first of all, that being so how much weaker you are after losing the king snake. How are you gonna deal with that king croc? And if you're gonna stay in there, I mean, who's next? I mean, do you have a bit of a second ranking king snake among you or something, or what's really the deal? Because if you're not gonna play by the rules, what makes you think a croc is gonna play by the rules? If a snake is not playing by the rules, why should a croc play by the rules? I'm done for the night. This is before saying good night, and I'm done for the night.